How are you all doing? I hope you're all well and don't lack anything in life. Today, I'll share with you a gripping Moroccan story, one that is completely Moroccan, from its setting to the motives behind the events. And trust me, what will shock you the most isn't just the crime itself, but the twisted reasons behind it. At the end of this episode, there will be a lesson that I believe will stay with you for a long time. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to stay updated on all my upcoming stories. If you're a returning viewer, grab a drink, settle into a comfortable spot, and let me take you through the twists and turns of today's story. Our story begins in Morocco, in the quiet city of Al-Hajeb. It's April 2009, and in this serene town lived a family of 5, a father, a mother, and their 3 sons. The eldest son, Abdelwahid, was the pride of the family. Hard-working and responsible, he always went above and beyond to help his family. After finishing his studies, Abdelwahid found a good job and worked diligently for 3 years. During that time, he saved up enough money to pursue the next step in his life, marriage. When he shared his plans with his parents, Abdelwahid reassured them, saying, "Even though I'll be moving to a nearby village, I'll never leave you. I'll visit every week, and you'll never feel my absence." These words filled his parents with pride and comfort. They knew they had raised a good son who wouldn't forget them, no matter where life took him. True to his word, after Abdelwahid got married and moved 30 minutes away, he made regular visits to his parents' home. He was a son who kept his promises. The second son, Karim, took a different path. While he also finished his studies and found a modest job, he stayed much closer to home. His father, seeing his potential, decided to help him out by giving him the upper floor of their family home. This gesture showed the father's dedication to ensuring all his children had a strong start in life. Karim worked hard, renovated the upper floor, and got married. He started his new life without having to move far, which meant he could always be there to support his parents whenever needed. Both Abdelwahid and Karim brought joy to the family when they had children. The house was often filled with the laughter of their little ones during family gatherings. And then there was the youngest son, Rashid. Unlike his brothers, Rashid struggled to find his footing. After finishing his studies, he couldn't secure a job. Living on the ground floor with his parents, he spent most of his days helping them with errands and chores. Rashid was dutiful in his way. He'd shop for groceries, prepare breakfast, and ensure his mother had everything she needed. But behind his helpfulness was a deep sense of sadness that he tried to hide. His parents, noticing his struggles, decided to step in. One day, they suggested selling a small piece of gold jewelry his mother owned to help him start a small business. It wasn't much, but they hoped it could give him a sense of purpose. But Rashid refused. "I can't let you sell something so precious to you," he said. "I'll wait for a job to come along. Until then, let me stay with you. God will provide." Despite his refusal, his parents continued to worry. They saw how much their youngest son was suffering in silence, but they didn't know how to help him. As promised, Abdelwahid continued to visit his parents every week, sometimes bringing his wife and children. One Friday, like any other, he spent the evening with his family. After dinner, he said goodbye and left for home. But that night, Abdelwahid didn't return to his house. At first, his wife wasn't alarmed. She assumed he had decided to stay the night at his parents' home. But the next morning, when she still hadn't heard from him, she called his parents to ask if he was there. His parents were shocked. "No," they said. "He left after dinner last night." That was the moment panic set in. The family began searching for Abdelwahid. They called relatives, neighbors, and friends, but no one had seen him. They even checked hospitals and police stations, fearing the worst. When their efforts yielded no results, they went to the police. Initially, the police weren't overly concerned. Abdelwahid was an adult, and it hadn't even been 48 hours since his disappearance. They assumed he might have stayed somewhere overnight without informing anyone. But the family knew better. This wasn't like Abdelwahid. Days turned into weeks, and still there was no sign of him. His mother couldn't stop crying, and his father seemed to age overnight. The absence of their eldest son cast a shadow over the once happy household. Months passed, and the family's wounds were far from healing. Then, 5 months after Abdelwahid's disappearance, tragedy struck again. The second son, Karim, left for work one morning, as he always did. But by evening, he hadn't returned. Once again, the family was thrown into chaos. They searched tirelessly, retracing Karim's steps, but found nothing. The parents were now living in constant fear for their youngest son, Rashid. They wouldn't let him out of their sight, afraid that he too might vanish. The police, meanwhile, began to suspect foul play. 2 brothers disappearing within such a short time. It couldn't be a coincidence. The investigation turned to the family home. The police decided to search every corner of the house, including Rashid's small room in the garden. During their search, an officer noticed something odd. In one corner of Rashid's room, the tiles didn't align properly. It looked as though they had been hastily placed. The officer ordered his team to dig. What they found beneath the tiles was horrifying. A decomposed body. It was Abdelwahid. Rashid was immediately arrested. At first, he denied everything, claiming he had no idea how his brother's body ended up in his room. But when the police presented him with evidence, a blood-stained axe and knife, he broke down and confessed. Rashid admitted to killing his eldest brother out of jealousy. He felt overshadowed by Abdelwahid, who he believed had everything he lacked: a good job, a family, and the admiration of their parents. One evening, when Abdelwahid was leaving their parents' house, Rashid ambushed him. He struck him on the head with an axe, killing him instantly. He dragged his brother's body into his room, dug a shallow grave, and buried him under the floor. Months later, Rashid's jealousy turned to Karim. He saw Karim as a constant reminder of his own failures and believed that eliminating him would give him peace of mind. One evening, after an argument, Rashid killed Karim in the same way. This time he dismembered the body, stuffed the parts into garbage bags, and disposed of them in a nearby sewer. When asked why he committed such horrific acts, Rashid showed no remorse. He said, "I wanted to be free of my brothers, so I could have my parents' full attention." The court sentenced Rashid to life in prison. The family was left shattered. The parents, devastated by the loss of all 3 sons, withdrew from public life, their grief too heavy to bear. This story is a heartbreaking reminder of how jealousy and bitterness can consume a person, destroying not only their own life, but the lives of everyone around them. What do you think of this story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care and stay safe.